Hi everyone, I'm Marieanne, the Artsie Crafter. Well, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making some page dangles. I like to call them cluster dangles because they're a cluster of items all bunched together. So these are my little prototypes, and these ones I've made specifically for my Bohemian journal, but we'll be making some others today and they won't be this theme. But anyway, I'll show you how I've made these. So I used a piece of card which is like this. This one's got some book page on there, but I've started with a piece of cardboard and I've covered it. As I said, these are book pages, but these ones I've covered in fabric, as you can see on the back there. And then I've covered it in some lace and some trims and put a eyelet in there and made these little cards here and put eyelets in there, and they've got a bulb pin up the top, which is very hard to see because of the lace there, and I've got a little charm on there with some ribbon. So that's what that one looks like. And then this one is a little bit different. I've got a little pocket here made of lace, and I've got some cardstock on the back of this one, and I've edged it in lace, and it's got a lace panel there, and put a little bit of trim, and it's got some butterflies on there and a little charm. And this one here, I just want to show, I've got it attached to this envelope that we made a few tutorials ago. If you haven't seen these us make these envelopes, I'll leave that in a link to that video in the description below, and you'll be able to go and check out how we made these envelopes. But in the meantime, I'll show you how this one works. Do that up. So this one has some fabric on it this time, and I've put some, this was satin, but of course I used fabric glue, and as you can see it came through, but I've just left it there as pretending it's just a design on the fabric because I didn't know what else to do. And I left a little, this is the selvage edge of the fabric on the edge there, and just some more fabric lace there with some bow and charms. So that's what's on that one there. And this one I forgot to mention is no, it's not that one, it's one of these. Oh, here it is here. You can just see up the top there, I've actually used a paper clip, so I didn't make a mistake. I used that instead of putting an eyelet in there at the top. I've used that, and you can, I've still got a bulb pin in it up the top, but it's just another option so that if you don't want to put eyelets in, you don't have to. You could use the paper clip to go inside. It starts off like a hidden paper clip, but I'll show you how to do that. And you can not even use the bulb pin if you don't want to. You can just use the ribbon to tie it to your page or some element on your page. So that's those little examples there. And so I'll put those aside, and I'll take this pretty lace off and show you my cutting mat. And the first one we're going to do is I'm going to make that paper clip one. So all I've done is glued some book page to a panel, and I made this one 2 inches wide, or 5 centimeters, and it's 2.5, sorry, less than 5, isn't it? What's 2 inches? 2 inches wide, yes, sorry, it's 5 centimeters, and it's 2.5 inches long, which is almost 6.5 centimeters long. So that's 5 inches and flipped over. And then in the middle here, I just made a mark in the middle, and I lined this. This is a tiny, small paper clip, not the large one. And I just placed that there, and got my pencil and made a mark on either side here. And then I got my craft knife, and I cut that line out between those 2 points. In that way you can push your paper clip through there. That's how that works. And instead of us attaching another piece of card to the outside to have that as a hidden paper clip, we're going to actually glue this all together and close it up so you don't get access to that paper clip, and the glue will keep that in place so it won't move up and down. So we'll do that now while I think about it. And we'll give it a chance to dry before we move on and decorate the little dangle. And make sure you get glue on that paper clip, and I'll just close that over first and smoosh down the sides, and then you can push this down as far as you want, straighten it up and push it down to just about like that, and that gives you enough room there to tie a ribbon and put maybe you want to put a ball pin or whatever else you want to put in there, some lace. So that's how that works. And then put lid on my glue. And now I'm going to because this book page, I use this as a base because I wanted to actually put some lace this time over the top as a background, so I didn't want to see the ugly cardstock because it's recycled card that I was using. So I can glue that onto there now. So I'm gluing it on this side around and up. You don't want to glue on the top because otherwise you'll close over your paper clip. I'll do one side. So you want it this way? No, we don't. Always got to do it the wrong way. Okay, we want it this way. And I should have trimmed off that top before I glued it down, because otherwise it'll be too difficult to cut with the paper clip in the way. So I will use a pen and mark where I want to cut the lace off. Give me a guide. Hopefully I can cut that in a straight line. Most laces will stretch a little bit, so if you don't have it accurate, and I didn't do that on the other side. Just reach in there with my little scissors. I think my little scissors need sharpening because I use them to cut fabric. Get rid of that. Okay, and we'll glue the other side. There. And I'll use my ruler to squish all that down, make sure it's firmly attached to the dangle base, not me. Okay, and we can cut this out. It's up the edge. And so that's the base of the dangle. And put that aside. Now I'm going to, I've got some laces here, little trims, and I'm just going to, decide which side you want up. The writing is the right way up, and I'm going to leave this plain. You can always put a little, get some lace and put a little pocket on the bottom at the back, but I'm going to leave this one plain. And because we're not putting an eyelet in the top here like I did with the others, like this one here, got an eyelet at the top. We're not doing that with this one because you've got the paper clip in there instead. It's going to do the same job. So it's just a matter of laying these laces down where you want on here and something like that. And I'm going to have it dangling down below, and it'd be good if you were in shot, wouldn't it? So I can put that, layer them. I didn't have the laces I wanted, but never mind. So do that, something like that. Glue that all down. So, and that will be our base complete. So I'll go ahead and do that. Just a matter of putting glue all over, excuse me, all over this panel. Okay, my glue is being very stubborn, or the lace is being stubborn. I don't know which one. Okay. There we go, and all you have to do is, it would be good to leave it to dry, but we haven't got time for that, so I'll keep going and cutting that excess off. Okay, and there's the base of the next layer already done, all finished. So I think that's looking very pretty, and you've got some lace on the back there, and the little elements I'm going to put on the front. I've got this little lady here, vintage lady, and I just backed it on some cardstock that I painted, and there's the back there. And I didn't ink the back of this by the looks of it. Oops. Just ink it up a little bit more. And I'm not putting an eyelet in here. I'm just going to leave it as is. And this is going to be the little bit. So she's going to Paris, and there's a little tag. So that's little, and she's going to meet her sweetheart. So there's the little heart. So that's the story I'm telling myself. So I've got the bulb pin. So to put all this together, you start with the front element first. And you're going to be opening from the back. So you thread them on from the front, the way you want them to hang, like such, and then this one will go through there and lock that up, and there they are, all there sitting pretty on their background. And then to keep all this in place there, I've got this bit of ribbon, and I thread this through the bulb pin here and tie it to the front, so that should keep all those little elements at the front there. And the back of the bulb pin will be free to attach to whatever you're going to attach it to. Well, that's how it seems to work for me, so I think it should work that way for everybody. And I was tying a knot, but the knot ended up being so bulky I gave up on that. So I just and you can dab a bit of fabric glue on the knot here when it's tied up. So you know, instead of putting a second knot before you do the bow part, you can do that if you're worried about the bow undoing at some stage, because some of them, especially these satin ribbons, they have a habit of unraveling, so to say. There we are, and there's our little dangle, little multi-layered dangle. It's very pretty, and there's the back. And you can keep the ribbon. I'm going to keep this ribbon at this length, because I think it matches the style. It's a vintage style, so I like how it looks like that. And dab a little bit of glue just on each side of that knot, so it should stay just a little tiny bit on either side, and so it should not undo. And a little bit too much there. There we go. So we'll put that one aside, and I think we have time for another one. So we'll get on with the next one. And the next one I'm going to do is a little bit different, and this time I've got my piece of card, which is recycled card, and the same size. I'm doing it the same size, and I've got some fabric here, this broad angle that I had dyed with some coffee dye. So I'm going to cover that, and this time I'm going to punch a eyelet in here so I can wrap the whole lot around. And if you didn't want the white showing through, I could you know, put some color on there, but I won't bother with that. I'll just leave it as is. So I'll get the fabric glue out and glue this up. So you'll see at the back that blue showing through, but I think that looks quite pretty. I don't mind that. And then I'm going to be, this time I'm going to put strips of fabric going this way. So I've got that one there, that one, and then I thought I'd put that in the middle. So I've got to cut this strip off, and I think I'll cut it off about halfway. So I'll measure that roughly. Turn it over the other way might be easier, and I've got a pen, and I'll draw a line. Cut that out. You can see my line. So I'm going to have, you've got a you call it a closed edge and an open edge here. I'm going to have the open edge at the top, and because all that ribbon and that we're going to attach will cover that up, and I will glue this down. Okay, there's our base, or our second layer I should say. And now it's just a matter of punching a hole in there. I'm going to put, the other thing I'm going to put on the bottom is some lace, and I've got a couple of colors of lace, and then I've got some eyelash trim to put on there, except I think I might have this going up like that, and this one like that, and so this blends in with the brown like that. And I was thinking about doing 2 layers of this eyelash trim, so I'll see how well I go and see if I can glue both layers down, because it's fairly thin stuff, so I'll do that. Got it down in double layer, and I can fluff all that out later on. I can trim it off, and hopefully that glue will dry and keep it all down. But in the meantime, I'll trim this sides off. And now I'll punch a hole. I've got my crocodile, and I'll use the large hole and punch a hole in here and get it in the middle, hopefully. Because I'm punching through fabric, it doesn't cut quite all the way through. But, okay, and I've got these eyelets, which are not very good ones. I don't know where I picked them up from, but it's very hard to get eyelets anywhere around the place unless you get them online. So anyway, just have to put up with them, and hopefully next time I'll order them from somewhere else. If it's bulky, they're not too bad, but if it's thin, they don't work very well. But we got there, and then so I've got all those trims on, and everything covered in glue. My scissors. Yeah, clear up this mess. Okay, so that's what that looks like, and the back. And again, you could put something else on there as well, but I'm going to leave it that way. And then I've already put all the charms together. It's pretty much the same process as I showed you before. And excuse my fingers. This time I used a little postcard, and this is one of those little collage animals. This one's an owl. I made collage animals and butterflies in a tutorial a while ago, so they were fun to make, and now I'm using one finally. Well, I've used a couple, but I'm using my favorite little owl. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link to that one in the description box below. And I've got a little clock there because some owls are good for keeping time or something like that, and my little bow at the front, so I can open this ball pin and attach that to the eyelet, and there we go, it's finished. And there's another little one all ready to go and put onto a page. And once that glue dries properly at the bottom, I'll be able to trim that off and straighten it up. So that's that one. So we might have time for one more. I've got this card here, and I've got to put it, this time I'm going to back it onto some fabric, this fabric. So I'll put that on this side. So it's going to be a little bit different this time. So I'll glue this down on this side. And this time I'm going to use this ribbon as a, don't know where it's got this little very bit there, but that might be cute on the bottom there as a bit of a trim. So I'm going to glue this on as a little pocket. So I've got a little mark, make a little mark here. There's our little pocket. Make sure it's the right level. That's good. So that's that. And then on the front, make sure the pocket's at the bottom. I've got some green this time. So I'm going to do the same as the other, have them stripes going up and down, or vertical I should say. So I'll glue those on. I cleaned off as much glue as I could off my fingers. So remember, that's the pocket down the bottom there. And I've got this little trim here that I can put on there, and then a little bit of lace to go down the bottom. And I've got this, what do you call it, this leaf trim as well. I'd like to put that on there somewhere, perhaps like that. So we'll do that next. Okay, and that's what that one looks like. It's quite pretty. And now I'll put an eyelet in there, and I'll try and get it in the center. and it's about there. I hope everyone's having a happy crafty day today. It's just waiting for my husband to come home. It's almost the end of the day. Don't usually film this late in the afternoon, but I wanted to get all these videos done. Oh, make sure you put it in the right place. I'm not cutting a hole. And my puppy dog is waiting for me to finish up down here so I can go up and give him his dinner. Well, I don't know what happened. My video cut out, so I had to start again, and I thought I was filming, and then when I checked it, I wasn't, so I got to the end and nothing was happening, so I'm going to do this a little bit again. So anyway, as I don't know whether you saw, but this is how it turned out, and it's got that little pocket at the back. So now we can add little bits and pieces here, and this one here, it's got a little quote on the back here. It says, "The earth laughs in flowers," by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Thought that was rather cute. And a little floral tag, and then a leaf. It's the only green little element that I had to go on there. So, and then the little green bow and the bulb pin. So now we can attach that. This one has a little leaf, has a little cameo thing on there. You could add a little photo of some kind if you're really desperate enough to find one that small. But anyway, we'll attach this to our dangle, and that completes that one. So I'll bring these all back and show you. So that's those, and the ones that are my first ones that I showed you there. These are my bohemian ones, and these ones I thought I'd do one of each, like a vintage one, a botanical one, or a nature one and a botanical one, something like that anyway. So just give you some variety, and I hope that gives you some inspiration to go and make some page dangles for yourself, because as you can see, they're lots of fun, very simple to do, and uses up all your little scraps. So thank you very much for watching today, and I wish everybody a happy crafty day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone. Here's my little owl. Flying away for dinner.